built on one big breakthrough, right? It's built by people who question the status quo constantly. And one of those people is Ilke here with me. Ilke, you're a researcher at VITO. That's exactly what you guys do there. How is VITO helping to shape the future?
Well, VITO is a research institute from Europe, Belgium, and we mobilize the minds of more than 1,400 researchers, but also economists, engineers, dreamers, and builders. It's really a place full of unique individuals that contribute every day to make this world a better place. And we are building a livable future by turning scientific insights into technological innovation, AI solutions, and policy advice.
Okay, now tell me a little bit more about the people working there, about yourself. What does the future of VITO look like? What are your dreams, your hopes, and your fears about the future?
That's a great question. The future of VITO looks bright, and we have a lot of young people working at VITO, just like myself. You will see a couple of others joining me on stage in a couple of minutes. And we are really looking how we can contribute our time, our knowledge, our drive towards a better tomorrow. And what all these young people at VITO have in common is that we have a massive amount of curiosity that we turn into a vision, how we see a sustainable future. And that vision we're trying to turn into impact working at VITO.
Okay, very inspiring. Future is secured. I'm hyped about all those young, driven researchers. And tonight we'd like to introduce you to 4 of them who are going to tell you about their research. They all started with one big question that haunted them. And tonight, it's still clear outside, so that's a bit weird. They're going to tell you where that question led them. Let's have a look.
Maybe tomorrow begins with a question. What future do we want to create?
A future where humanity and nature thrive together.
Where waste is no longer just a leftover,
but the beginning of something new.
Where energy is clean.
Cities are resilient.
And communities are prepared.
Because resilience is built before the crisis.
A future where the air we breathe helps us thrive.
And where innovation leaves
no one behind.
Sustainability shouldn't be the alternative. It should be the obvious choice.
Because it creates value.
Because it reduces risk.
Because it delivers the best return on investments.
For our economy.
Our society.
Our planet.
With technologies that work.
Solutions that scale. And impact that lasts.
Every day we turn science into impact.
Not in isolation.
Together.
Across disciplines.
Across sectors.
Across borders.
Because the challenges we face are connected.
The solutions must be too.
Change comes from thousands of better decisions.
Made by millions of people.
We are researchers.
Engineers.
Scientists.
Dreamers.
Builders.
We are the generation that refuses to choose.
Between prosperity and sustainability.
Between economic growth and a healthier planet.
When was the last time you thought about your health? Chances are it was at a moment when something didn't feel quite right. You had a headache or tight shoulders, perhaps a suspicious cough. But that's not really where health begins. It starts much earlier. I've spent the last decade chasing one simple question. How can we help people stay healthy? I've started looking for the answer in the individual. I studied psychology because I wanted to know why some people stay healthy while others become ill. But the more I learned, the more I realized that health isn't only shaped inside our bodies. So I zoomed out. During my PhD in end-of-life care, I explored how care environments also shape people's health. And this made me wonder, how can we help people before they need care. So, I zoomed out again. Working in a health tech startup, I discovered how data and technology can actually help people to take a more active role in their own health. Not just by treating disease, but by preventing it. Today at VITO, I'll bring all of these perspectives together, because health is the result of everything around us. The air we breathe, the places where we live, the people around us, and the choices that we make every day. If we want to promote health, we have to see this bigger picture. And that's exactly where data becomes powerful. Not because we need more data, but because we need to connect what has always been disconnected. Imagine that you don't sleep well and you want to change that. Where do you start? By looking into your medical history, your lifestyle, your environment, or perhaps all of the above? Well, today, these data often live in very different places. And on their own, they're just pieces of a puzzle. My job is to bring them together into one clear picture that people can actually understand and use, so that you can make healthier choices, so that your doctor can better support you, and so that your neighborhood can become a healthier place to live. So here's my answer. No, health isn't something we just sustain. It's something we actively shape. And creating healthy environments is one powerful way to do that. So, Francesca, tell us, if our environments shape us, how do you believe we should shape them?
Our environments are shaped through the decisions we make every day. And helping others make the most sustainable decision is exactly what I do at VITO. Last year, I bought my first apartment, and I decided to do the renovations myself. As an architect engineer researching sustainability and circularity, I wanted to put my knowledge into practice. When I renovated my kitchen, the easiest option would have been to just remove everything and start from scratch. But instead, I first looked at what was already there. The appliances were still functioning, so I decided to reuse them. But the rest of my kitchen needed replacements, and finding the right reuse materials at the right time turned out to be much harder than expected. At VITO, I work on overcoming this challenge, but on a much larger scale. Every day, I help the construction sector and governments make more informed decisions by answering one simple question: what is the most sustainable option? Because circularity does not always equal sustainability. For example, in one of my projects, we looked at an exterior door. Most people wouldn't think twice and would just throw it out. That has become our default. But we know we can do better. We know we can make more sustainable decisions. So our next instinct is, let's reuse it. But before the door could be reused, it had to be removed, transported, cut and treated. And each step came with carbon emissions. And only when measuring the full environmental impact, it turned out that recycling actually had a lower carbon footprint than reusing it. But that doesn't mean reuse is the wrong answer every time. Sometimes reuse is the most sustainable choice. Sometimes recycling is. What is important is that we don't assume, but that we measure. Now imagine making these decisions across an entire city. Instead of seeing our environments as future wastes, we could start seeing them as material banks, the place where we find the next material we need. What do you think, Juan, as a material specialist? Do you think this could work?
Absolutely, Francesca. And to give you an example of that, I will share a story about how ancient Rome can help us build better cities. Because for generations, Romans couldn't choose between a large bank of construction materials. Instead, they have to build with what the land around them offer. And it's not secret for any of us, they were very good at it. A good example of this, we can find it in one of their most iconic buildings, the Pantheon. For nearly 2,000 years, this impressive building and its iconic concrete dome have stood. And the secret of its longevity is not magic, but a material. A material that otherwise would have remained unused, volcanic ash. Over time, Romans discovered that blending ashes into their construction blend produced structures that were stronger and more durable. This innovation happened to be one of the most important breakthroughs in the history of construction and was one of the backbones of how Romans built and expanded their empire. Today, to build our cities, we depend on concrete, a material with a huge environmental impact. There's no escape from concrete. But perhaps we don't need to run from it. Instead, we can think like the Romans, out of the box, and explore solutions using alternative resources that are often overlooked. As a materials engineer, that's what I do with my teams at VITO and KU Leuven. We look for ways to valorize local, otherwise unused resources, such as sediments or excavation waste, into materials that can make construction more sustainable. That is definitely a very bold and deep ambition, I know. But little by little, brick by brick, we're making it a reality. Take, for instance, VITO's new Earth building, a flagship for sustainable construction. That's the building where I work. Don't be jealous. And what it's amazing of this is that the building was built made out of bricks, carbon-negative bricks, produced with leftovers from the steel industry. Every time I visit Rome, I wonder if in 2,000 years people will look at us with the same amusement and curiosity as we look at them. Will people walk through our cities feeling amazed, overwhelmed, and inspired by our constructions? What will be our generation's pantheon? That building that is not only an architectural marvel, but one that is built with sustainable materials chosen to last and to carry our story into the future. Who knows? This might be the seed how we start all over again in a new place. But I'm going to let VITO Spaceship Commander to tell you about that. I hand it over to you, Commander Paulina.
Thank you, Juan. When I was 18, I discovered Star Trek. What fascinated me wasn't the spaceships or the futuristic technology. It was the vision of humanity behind it. Yes, that's me. A future where curiosity, science, and collaboration can help us solve our greatest challenges. It made me wonder, how do we get there? Today, we've learned about the world of tomorrow and the future of sustainability. In my research, I take that question to the ultimate frontier. How can we build a place where humans can live when that place is Mars? Mars has no breathable atmosphere, little accessible water, extreme temperatures, and no infrastructure. It is the ultimate sustainability challenge. If we ever want humans to live there, we have to build everything from scratch. At VITO, I work on electrochemistry for space applications, and that means developing technologies that can generate energy and use that energy to produce oxygen and fuels out of the resources that are already available on Mars. From day one, these technologies have to be circular, efficient, and designed to make the most out of every local space resource. Maybe that's the biggest lesson space exploration can teach us, to be sustainable. Because the innovations that we develop to go there will help us understand how to use our limited resources here more sustainably. There is no other outer space we can rely on. One more thing I learned from Star Trek. No one shapes the future alone. It takes scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and many more working together, because the future doesn't belong to only one discipline. It belongs to those who connect them. And that's what makes places like VITO so powerful. What do you think, Ilke? You are the economist.
I couldn't have phrased it better, Paulina. Whether we're talking about human health, circular cities, innovative materials, or even life on Mars, none of the challenges that we face as humanity can be solved in isolation. It requires different people with diverse perspectives to work together to build that sustainable future. And that future is created by the people who connect ideas, who scale life-changing technologies, and who build the bridges in our ecosystem. And as Paulina said, that's exactly where VITO and its young powerhouses stand for. We build those connections. We reimagine everyday life, and we visioneer tomorrow, together with governments, corporates, with policymakers, and with startups. Because as you might know, and have seen throughout the day, Europe has an amazing ecosystem of the startups, and especially deep tech startups. And at VITO, we are trying to empower those deep tech startups by our specific program called VITO for Starters. We give startups access to our world-leading infrastructure and our experts to co-build these ventures and scale them more rapidly into the next potential change makers. And as VITO invests in these startups, it invests also in the young talent here on stage. So I invite my colleagues to join me as we are about to announce the winners and the winner and the finalists of our VITO for Starters pitching competition. Because this morning, we had the pleasure to organize a pitching competition here at the Elixir stage, and we invited 10 top-notch startups to come pitch with their ideas and their solutions for a brighter future. We were blown away by all, but there were only 3 that could make it as a finalist. The 3 that showed the most impactful journey ahead. And those 3 will win a ticket to Tomorrowland tomorrow to dance the night away after a hard day of working here at Love Tomorrow. So give it up for our 3 finalists: Amobia, Whatloop, and BioClean Carbon. Really all very impressive startups, so keep those names in your head, guys. You will hear from them. But of course, there's only one that can win. Only one that blew us away and that we will see how we can scale that further. This startup will be fast-tracked in the VITO for Starters program, and we will be happy to look how we can help them out with our VITO technology. So join us as we announce the startup. And we have Amobia that has won our startup competition. Let's get the startup on stage. We have Karen Baart here. Karen is a powerhouse. She's an amazing woman, really inspiring. And she pitched her startup, Amobia, this morning. Amobia is an amazing startup that is transforming the way we make our ammonia in a green way, in a localized way. She will blow us all away, and she's here with us on stage. She will get a nice plaque with the winner of VITO for Starters on it, and she will receive a little house that contains sand from our geothermal drilling, which is from 4 kilometers deep, which looks a bit at the journey that a deep tech startup has to go through. Dig deep, but then there's a lot of value added once you reach the bottom.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Give another applause. Okay.